Hey, insurance. This is Amy Waninger, not Tony Kanyas. Tony's on vacation and he has handed over the reins of his video series to me. And I am here to share my own insights with you for a few days. And I hope that I do Tony justice. I know that he has left some big shoes to fill, but also whenever he precedes me in a conversation or an introduction, I feel like I have a lot to live up to because he introduces me in a way that no one else would, or at least that I would not. And I'm going to do a video on that later this week too. But for today, what I want to talk to you about is my CPCU journey, and not my journey to get my CPCU, which was what a lot of people talk about, right? They talk about 540 and how tough that one is. And I can tell you more about my journey to get there later, but I want to talk about why I'm a member of CPCU and why I'm so engaged and involved. I got my CPCU in 2016 in Hawaii. That's when I met Tony for the first time. And really, I didn't know what his connection to the industry was. I just knew him as this guy that talked really fast and wore a Superman t-shirt to the conference. And that was it. And it wasn't until after the conference that I started really making a connection with Tony and with other folks in the insurance nerds community. And I love all of them. Tony, Carly, Nick, Taryn, everybody. You guys are great. But you're not the reason I'm a CPCU fanatic and a CPCU champion on an ongoing basis. That honor, or maybe it's a dubious honor, I'm not sure, goes to Mike Koselny. And here's what happened. I can tell you more of this in another time too, but I was at the conference in 2016. I had an amazing time, my first ever conference. And I wanted to give back in some way. I wanted to come back the next year and speak on diversity and inclusion because it was really important to me. And I wanted it to be actionable and relevant and all of that. And I thought, well, the best thing to do would be, one, to submit a proposal, which I'd never done before, and two, to seek out somebody on the diversity and inclusion committee, which I did. And I want to tell you that the application for the diversity and inclusion committee, or for all of the committees, says, you must be, or, you should be so many years in the society and this kind of credentials. And this was really important to me. And I didn't have the number of years in society. I was a new designee, but I called somebody on the committee or on the selection team or whatever it was. I don't even remember who. And I said, hey, I want to do this. Do I really have to wait 3 years? And they said, no, just apply. So rule number one, just because you read it, it ain't necessarily so. Apply anyway. But the reason that I met Mike K was because I was on the CPCU Society's Diversity and Inclusion Committee. I attended the Leadership Summit in 2017, and that's where chapter leaders and National Society leadership, the committees, the IGs, interest groups, all of them get together and talk about, what they're going to do. And then there's some leadership training and some chapter training along with that. And so anyway, so I go to this for the first time, this event, this leadership summit. And the first morning there's a welcome for new attendees, and it's presented by the president of the society. And that was Mike K. And I walked in and I sat in the back because I didn't really know a lot of people there. And I'm listening to what Mike has to say about the society. And I don't remember anything else that he said in this talk. And I think he talked to us for probably 30 minutes. And I'm sure it was all wonderful, but I want to tell you what I heard in what he said. Abby Clow was sitting in the front row, and I didn't know her yet. Couldn't have told you her name, couldn't have picked her out from the crowd, but I could tell from where I was sitting that she was a woman, first of all, and younger than Mike. And in the middle of him talking about all of the stuff that's great about the CPCU Society, he talked about mentorship. And in that part of the conversation, he had sort of this throwaway comment that he probably doesn't even remember, where he pointed at Abby and he said, and that young woman right there is one of my mentors. And I have learned so much from her. And I don't remember anything he said after that. But here's why I heard that. 20 years I spent in IT and business systems, and the first 10 were outside of insurance. The last 12 were in insurance. And I have heard my entire life things like, oh, you're really good at math for a girl. You're really smart for a girl. You're really analytical for a woman. And my entire career, being a woman has been a detriment or a qualifier on my performance or my presence or my ability to achieve or whatever it was that I was there for. And in 2017, hearing Mike say, that young woman right there is one of my mentors, not one of my co-mentors, not a reverse mentor. He didn't put her below him to elevate her and thereby elevate himself. He put her above him, somebody that knew more about something than he did, somebody that he was learning from on a regular basis. And that moment, sitting in that seat, I felt like I might be welcome just for who I am, not welcome in spite of who I am. And it left such an impression on me that the man that the society elected as president, the person appointed to be the mouthpiece for the society, had a throwaway comment that that young woman right there is one of my mentors. Made me feel like this was an organization that I could really be a part of and really be successful in, and my contributions would count and that I would matter. And I'm going to do the math for you. In 2017, I was 42 years old. And that was the first time I'd ever felt like, from the very top of an organization, somebody cared that I was in the room. And I've given a lot to CPCU Society ever since then. And I might have anyway. But I can tell you that my commitment to being a lifelong member started in that seat, in that moment where I felt valued. Now, the lesson here is twofold. Number one, well, three, I guess. Number one, even if you think you're not qualified for something, go ahead and apply for it anyway, because sometimes those rules are just there because somebody wrote them and not because they mean anything. Just saying. Number two, people are always watching. If you are in a leadership role, and a lot of times, even if you're not, the people around you are watching to see if you will be an ally for them, an advocate for them, if you will appreciate them, and if you will recognize that they're in the room and that their contributions matter. And number three is the CPCU Society is a really amazing place to connect with people, to find people just like Mike Kay who believe in you, who want you to succeed. I have made so many amazing, amazing friends and professional connections and met so many mentors and found so many people I believe in and that believe in me, and we're helping each other succeed every day that I met through the CPCU Society. So if you are in insurance and you're not yet a member of the society, or if you have your designation and you didn't re-up, now is the time, because the value of this group is amazing. The webinars alone are worth the price of admission for membership. But all the other benefits that you get are just incredible. And so that's one part of my CPCU story. And I hope that if you have any interest in this designation, that you'll seek someone out and ask them. But also, if you have the designation, that you'll make sure that you remain a lifelong member of society, because the insurance industry needs you. And we need everyone in this industry firing on all cylinders, putting their best foot forward and giving as much value and getting as much value as they can from their career. I'm here all week. Enjoy the veal. And don't forget to subscribe to Tony's channel using whatever links are down there. Bye.